What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Missing Crypto Show. I hope everybody's having a lovely day today. Guys, I am feeling zesty. I hope you guys are feeling the zest, feeling the good vibes. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. Hi, my name is Randy. It's really nice to meet you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the stream out for friends so everyone can learn and hang out with our new zesty guests today. Guys, thank you to everyone in the chat. I appreciate you all being here. I saw so many people here beforehand. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for waiting for us to hang out with you. Just want to waste no time. I want to talk to our very zesty and special guest, none other than Crypto Savvy. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm chilling. I was very excited to have you. Savvy, you're all over the internet. You're all over the Twitter, always saying some very bold and spicy things, being no one else but yourself. And I really commend you for that. I like the bold takes. I'm a fan of them all. And, you know, I know you're an OG in the space as well, but how's your day going? I know you're pretty busy.
Very busy. I apologize for being a little late. Like I said, my audio was screwing up, all kinds of other stuff. But as most of people that follow me, if there are any in here, know I'm in the process. Me and the wife are building a new home, and it's a pretty tedious process. It's kind of exciting, but very tedious at the same time. So just got a lot going on. Life's busy. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
You're doing good, Savvy. Building a house from the ground up is not an easy task, especially in the days that we're having where there's shortages. There's a bunch of negative things going on in the world that could really, you know, kind of, stifle your innovation concerning your home. But you're getting it done, which I commend you for. That's determination right there. And you need to be determined to be in crypto. There's a lot of things going on here. But I want to take a step back, Savvy. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know the real Savvy. Let's start off in around college. What did you want to do with your life in college? Where did you envision yourself going?
I did not go to college.
Savage.
So my life was kind of crazy in the beginning. Most of my followers know I share it all the time. I was an alcoholic, drug addict. I've been sober for almost 11 years now. So anyone that's out there wanting to get into the markets or crypto or anything else, just know that I have been at the bottom and it wasn't very long ago. So anything is possible. I literally, even when I started trading, I done really well when I first started. It's been about, say, 11 years, something like that, something in there. Started playing with penny stocks and stuff, and I got really lucky. And this is what happens to a lot of traders. They'll win a couple trades, make a bunch of money, think they're a pro, and then give it all back. And I gave it all back and some. And that's when I really, like I said, I almost lost everything. My wife, everything over that, because I literally lost everything and had to start from the bottom and really get into it. There's no cookie cutter program. I don't believe in the paying people for calls and all that stuff. I believe if you're really going to be a trader, you have to dig in deep. You have to put in your time and learn risk management. It's huge. That's why I don't believe in the trade signals and stuff, because you're not learning any risk management. You're never going to win every trade. You just got to keep your losses small and ride the winners.
That's deep. For sure. So right after high school, you were just straight up into life, and then you kind of fell down this negative rabbit hole. What was it like kind of coming out of that? And because I know a lot of people do struggle with sobriety. I've had a couple people on the show that did kind of describe their journey. What made you quit? What made you say this is kind of the end for me? I need to stop doing what I'm doing.
Watching a lot of people around me, was big, but it's so hard to explain, because when you're in the middle of it, you don't even really realize what's going on. It pretty much takes everything over, and that becomes your way of life. So it seems normal.
Yeah.
And looking back at it, obviously it's not. But I actually got sober the first time around 2004 or something till around 2008. So I had 4 years, and thought I would be able to go out and handle it, just do a little bit or whatever. Went right back into it, and it took me another 5 years after that to get sober again. But yeah, it's so hard to explain that what made me change. I worked the whole time. I stayed in my career, which was the tire industry, which big tires and mining and quarries and stuff. So and there's not many people in that, so it wasn't hard to keep my job. A lot of people looked after me just because they needed me, so luckily. But then once I sobered up, I got into the business side of it, got out of the service part, went into sales, and then eventually ran a location. But none of that really changed till I finally gave up, and then people started seeing it in me. And I don't know, anyone that's struggling with it, just reach out for help. That's all I can say. You definitely aren't going to get anywhere if you try to do it on your own.
Yeah, I know it's not easy at all. And a lot of people don't even come out of it, and they just stay in there until, they're just way out there, or, worse comes to worse. And, we don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, but I'm really happy that, I'm really happy that you're here now and you really got out of that, because like I said, like, it's not easy. And I think, a lot of people are inspired by something like that, just because it's just so much mental and physical too, just going through all of that and coming out of it. You were running a location, like a tire location, by the end of that, or like?
Like I said, I went into sales, and then I actually went back with one of my old employers, and they asked me to open up a location where I'm at. So they came out, bought a building, and let me run my own and build it. Actually, I have a family member now running it, so I kind of brought him up into it.
So how did you kind of enter the markets?
Started out with penny stocks. I don't remember. I think I was watching some infomercial years ago about it. So I started getting into trading penny stocks, and I kind of got an idea how the markets worked or whatever, just watching them for a while. And then I jumped in, and like I said, I got lucky on a couple trades. I threw some more money in and got really lucky. I got really lucky. I'd like to say it was great trades, but it was literally luck, and I made a bunch of money. Thought I was a pro, went in deep, started going in heavier, and started losing really bad. And then I just kept, revenge trading. I always tell people, don't revenge trade. If you get in a bad rut, just step back, relax. The markets are not going anywhere. Get yourself back together. I've taken off months at a time before. Even not recently, but I've taken weeks off. Just sit back and recuperate. The markets aren't going anywhere. There's always going to be opportunity. And a lot of people, think it's negative when you talk about the markets going down. It all depends on how you're looking at it. Like, if you just want to buy something, hold on and get rich, then yeah, it sounds negative, but you can make a lot of money even when markets go down.
There is a line there to tread between investing and straight up degeneracy, and right. I think that, of course, having that rush of that trade is kind of like, oh my gosh, like, I'm winning, I'm the king of the world, I'm the wolf of Wall Street, and then you kind of get crushed after that. How did you kind of recuperate? How did you like recover your crushed ego? Because I know it's heartbreaking, and it could discourage you from just the markets overall. So why even jump back in?
It was bad, and it was a while. And actually what happened was, I had to tell my wife after I lost everything. I literally went down and told her that night, and I was physically ill. And when I say physically ill, I mean physically ill. When I told her, I thought I was never going to get rid of that feeling. It was it was 6 figures and totally gone, everything we had, right? So I had to go down and tell her, which was extremely humbling. She was obviously very upset, and I promised her. I said, I promise you I'll get it all back and some. And I'd work around 10 hours a day, sometimes more, sometimes a little less. But I'd get up in the morning, look at the charts, go to work, and get to work about 7 o'clock, get home about 7 or 8 at night, and sit back in front of the computer, going over charts and just reading all the information I could, Elliott Wave, Wyckoff, all kinds of just whatever I could find. And then I just started trying to develop a strategy. I started looking into risk management really deep. And it took me, I want to say it was 6 or 8 months before I started even trading again. But I literally, every waking hour that I wasn't at work, I was sitting down in front of the chart, because that's the only way I knew to. My whole thing was, I was looking at it and thinking, people are making a lot of money at this, and I just need to figure out how they're doing this. So, and then I went in with a small amount, and it was up and down. And then after a while, I got a strategy that was profitable, not, wasn't getting rich off it, but it was profitable. And then you work with it, you get a strategy. And then, once you got something that's making profit for a little longer, then, just grow that account depending on what you start with, or, throw a little bit more in, or however. But just make sure you know what you're doing. It's super risky, especially learning. And if anybody tells you they haven't lost a lot of money and they're actually trading, I don't think they're telling you the truth. So you're gonna go through a losing streak. I don't care if you pay for $1 million program that promises you're going to be a great trader. It's going to be no different than somebody that actually just digs in and starts studying the markets.
I know a lot of traders that are self-taught, and I think if you put in the work, just like anything else, like you could be successful. But then again, I've also spoken to a lot of traders where it could be a 7 out of 10 situation where maybe you're right 7 out of 10 times, but even that's a very high amount. You know what I mean? Like you just have to kind of separate your emotions from all of it. And I think that's probably like the biggest thing.
Emotions are huge.
You were talking about like revenge trading before. That's something that, I would have to fight myself on getting into trading, because I know I get competitive with myself.
Right.
And if I lose, I want to win, right? So it's just like you go back in and you're like, no, I want the money. Give me the money now. It's just, you can't do that. Yeah.
And the emotions both ways. Get overexcited. You make dumb moves. I mean, that's just, you got to try to keep it even keel. If you really get into markets, they're all based on emotion. I mean,
at the end of the day,
it's all based on emotion. If you can keep your emotions down, and try to try to be at like a monotone, or, just try to be cool, calm, and collective, and not get overly excited or overly mad. You're going to do a lot better than if you let your emotions take over. Because once they take over, it's like a snowball.
Absolutely. And how did you kind of trade your way out of the traditional lifestyle you were leading beforehand? Because I know you mentioned that you were still trading, actively looking at the charts while still working.
Yeah, I kept doing that for a long time. I was actually totally wore out by the end before I quit my job. And my wife used to say, "Why are you even going to work anymore?" Because my initial goal was, once I can make what I make at work and keep that steady for 4 to 6 months, then I'm going to go ahead and quit and then go into this full time. Well, I did that, and probably about a year or so after I got back into trading, actually trading, not studying. And I still was scared too. I mean, that's a scary thing. It was, I had been doing it for 27 years, my job. So it was kind of scary. And then I got to where I was making almost double. And then I was all stressed out, obviously, because I work so much. And every morning I wake up, my phone's ringing off the hook. I'd be bitching and moaning, going out the door. My wife was getting sick of hearing that at this time. So she was like, "Why are you even going if you're making enough?" And I kept saying, "I don't know. That's scary. Once you get tied into a job, that's security. That's, and you're kind of giving up some security." And then I didn't have nobody else to blame if it didn't work but me. So that was just more. But eventually one morning I just woke up, and my boss, we're still good friends. The guy that owns that company, we actually owned another company together.
That's good.
Yeah, that we started after I got sober and stuff. But anyways, I called him up one morning and said, "I'm not coming to work no more." And he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm done." And he's like, "I kind of knew it was coming, but damn, like that." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'll answer the phone for you, for a couple weeks or whatever need be. I'm not going to leave you high and dry. I just don't feel like going to work anymore." And he was like, "Damn."
Wow.
So anyway, he came down and we had a meeting or whatever. Everything went well. I actually, I don't know how long you've been following me on Twitter, but I took a bunch of guys on a fishing trip down in Key West, and I ended up taking him with me and stuff. So we're still really good friends. But it all worked out. It was a scary move, but it was actually the best move I ever made. I guess once you jump into something and that's everything, you put a little more into it, and it just keeps getting better. So.
Absolutely. I definitely felt the same way after I know it's very different, but after I graduated high school and I was working a part-time job at that time, once I stopped doing all of that and I really dedicated myself to this is when like my content started improving, everything just started working. And I think that, you have to take the risk. You just have to do it, or else like you could always, that's the problem. Like a lot of people talk the smack, like they walk, like, what's the saying? They talk the walk or something.
Talk the talk, but don't walk the walk.
Yes, they talk the talk, but don't walk the walk. Exactly. It's just like people talk all this smack, like how people complain on Twitter about A, B, and C, but then they actually don't do anything about it but tweet on Twitter. Right. So it's just like you have to take the leap. You have to take the initiative and just do it. And hearing that you guys like are close enough to go to Key West together is pretty nice. I mean, I like Key West. Right. I'm a fan. So you guys went fishing down there?
Yeah, went deep sea fishing down there. It was a good time. I took some other guys with me, my tax guy and some other guys. It was a very good time.
Yeah, Key West is fire. I love Key West. I was like down there over the summer. It's pretty cool. I think it's very underrated, Key West. Do you like the other keys? Me and my wife actually took
about a week down there a couple of years ago and just traveled each key and stayed on a couple of them for a couple of days. It was a good time. Yeah, I like it down there.
That's a vibe, 100%. Yeah. And you were mainly trading stocks at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, how did you kind of transition out of penny stocks? Because I know like that's like kind of like the degen like small cap coins and crypto type stuff. So how did you transition to more traditional stocks, and then how did this eventually lead to crypto for you?
Well, it was right around the beginning of 2017, and penny stocks were kind of a lot like crypto. So there were different vlogs and different chats that people hung out in, and get the new hot penny stock, blah, 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 but they were dying down. And then I was seeing a lot more people come in and talk about they're getting into crypto and blah, blah, blah. And that's where I kind of shifted over, and I thought, wow. And I got caught up in the Bitcoin hype, though. I let my emotions get involved in the beginning, thinking, I hate to say this because a lot of you could look at it a few different ways, but looking at Bitcoin like that was a new thing, it was going to change the world, blah, blah, blah. I was all in and crazy about it. But then after being in it for a while, it's no different than any other market. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it literally is the same thing. Like, I look at markets as it's like a game. It's totally a game. It really doesn't matter the company, the profits of the company, any of that stuff anymore. I mean, take Tesla, for example. The stock was flying up, and literally Tesla was making no money off of cars. They were getting vouchers from the government for producing electric cars, and they were selling them vouchers to Ford and GM and things like that. So they really weren't making any money, but yet the stock was flying. So if you look at CEOs of companies nowadays, their main goal is to pump the price of their stock. That's what it is. And it didn't used to be like that. I don't know exactly when it changed, but literally that's what markets are anymore. And you got to learn to play the game.
That's actually pretty true because, I have CNBC on quite a bit, and they always talk about the stock. Then they'll bring on the CEO to explain why they did something that everyone's mad about, and that's why the stock went down.
Right.
It's a very weird game that the stock market is. It is. It doesn't, I'm going to be honest, like a lot of it doesn't make sense to me, just the way it all operates and the way it all works. It just kind of seems very controlled, especially because you could halt stocks, which was a big thing, like in 2020, what was it, 2020 or 2021, where like, the GameStop thing went down and
21.
Yeah, 21. Everyone was flipping out GameStop and AMC. Then they halted all those stocks. Meanwhile, meme coins were flying, and you can't halt those, which is, a more of a free market to me. So it's just like there's so much going on in the stock market that just confuses me quite a bit. So, I mean, 2017 was like the big ICO phase too. So did you get involved in that, or were you kind of just more into Bitcoin at the time?
No, I never really, and I still today really only mess with Bitcoin until it, dies down. Then I'll jump into the stock market or whatever a little bit. But Bitcoin's volatile enough, and I'm not going to sit and watch 1,000 different things when I could just watch one and just focus on that. I don't like, and I'm not a day trader, so I don't sit there and do 10 trades in a day. I'm not into that. I'm more of a swing trader. I look for setups, get in the setups, and I'll be in it for, sometimes weeks at a time, sometimes longer.
Wow.
But yeah, so I really, and two, that depends a lot on how much capital you're playing with. The more capital you have, you don't have to go as high a leverage, or if any leverage. So you can be in a trade a whole lot longer. You're not worried about getting liquidated. And you got to be careful with the exchanges today.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking to somebody now. It's actually a good friend of mine that I've done business with. And he has very successful company. He's into crypto also, and he sold something to a crypto trader. And this kind of goes into two exchanges at once. And I've been talking about this for a while to watch for. I don't know if you've seen my .com bubble comparison and stuff, like when all the .coms died out and it was like a scam washout.
Yes, I saw you. I saw you tweet that. What was that?
Yeah,
Yesterday
so the
or
same
day
type
before?
of thing. I think. I've been talking about it. I made a video on it December 2nd, talking about it.
Yeah.
Right up, but basically that was washing out all the scams and all the crazy stuff, right? So I think the same thing needs to happen to crypto, and I think exchanges are a big part of that. You know, you can see what happened with Celsius and all that stuff, and there is an exchange that one of this trader that spent, it was a few $100,000 he transferred to my buddy to buy something. Well, he went and got it or whatever, but when he got back on his exchange, because he took off that much money, and I can't mention anything because he's giving him a chance to fix it or whatever.
To right their wrong. Yeah.
Right. So then he was in a trade at that time. Well, the thought behind it is that he took out a lot of money. So don't know if the exchange actually has all the money they say they have. So he took out a bunch of money. Then he was in a trade and he got liquidated when it shouldn't even got liquidated. It got nowhere near his liquidation. He had stops in and didn't even hit his stops or whatever. But so then, long story short, the money he transferred over to the other guy, he did that in USDC, and it's on the other guy's, which is a very big exchange. And I don't want to say nothing about that either. He just got a hold of, this is about 5 days ago, I think now. He just got a hold of me today. He's got an attorney involved now, but he can't get his USDC out. They keep saying they need to check this info, they need to check that info, and so it's really weird. And I'm gonna be bringing it out if, you know, he's, like I said, he just got an attorney today. The other guy still hasn't got his money back, but he asked me not to say nothing about the exact exchange until it's all done. But I think there's gonna be a lot more of this stuff going on, especially if Bitcoin goes down as far as I think it is. It's really gonna show what exchanges are really, you know, really have the money.
That's so valid. And this is something that I bring up sometimes and people get upset with me, but who's to say that, you know, having your crypto on the exchange is the same thing as having it in your bank account. None of it is guaranteed. The only crypto that's guaranteed is the crypto in your wallet. So, you know, I think even over anything over maybe even $500, you take off the exchange, maybe even less. Like, I don't care. I self-custody everything. I'm not, like, nothing is like worth losing to me. And it's just like,
So
how,
the weird thing about that
his
is
account or something that his stops didn't go through and things like that. Then why didn't
there's two different kinds of exchanges. There's an A-book exchange and there's a B-book exchange.
Okay.
And a B-book exchange is like, say you started your own exchange, you're using your own crypto, and these people are trading on your platform, but you're using your crypto to pay off and take or whatever.
Oh.
So those ones that are using their own, those are B-books. So the way they make money is when people lose, that's where they make their money. An A-book exchange, so they can see all your trades, and they have trading desks within their exchange that, you know,
Kind of
handle the
counter trade
trades.
you.
So yeah, they can see your trades and everything. And then there's A-book exchanges, and A-book exchange is just a broker. So they pass your orders to and they just make commission off of your you know, your trades. They get a commission. So whether you win or lose, they're getting paid the same. So the B-book, but you got to remember the B-book only makes money when people lose. That's when they're making money. So them are the ones that you see getting shilled a lot because they need to keep bringing people in because they're, you know, taking everyone's money. Just something to put out there. Just look it up. Anybody watching, A-book versus B-book, and just be careful out there.
I'm going to do some research into that because this is some alpha right here. I didn't, you know, it's weird that someone can set up in an exchange and just use their own
and that's
crypto.
strictly with crypto. You don't see it. There's A-book and B-book on regular exchanges too, with regular stocks, penny stocks. Most of them are pretty legit, but you really got to watch in crypto with the B-book exchange.
Yeah, because, you know, what was Mount Gox considered at the time? Like, that's what I'm
You know, I never even really looked at that, but I would assume that was a B-book.
Mount Gox.
You can look it up and see.
B-book or A-book. I don't know. Why can't I find this? All right.
You
Well,
Usually I'll have to dig in and read all their small rating crap if I know what they are.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some research into that later because that makes me think like what was Mount Gox that
Right.
all that stuff kind of happened and wow, this is
But yeah,
crazy. Another reason
it's
is self
pretty trippy.
custody. Another
Right.
reason. I don't trust anybody. Like unless you're actively trading your crypto, like if you're trying to hodl all that stuff, get it off the exchange
Right.
ASAP. Did you ever have like that type of incident where you couldn't like withdraw from an exchange? Because I think like even banks are
Not
blocking
really.
transactions now too.
I've never really had any issues. Other than, the worst thing I had was like Coinbase because you would put money on, you had to wait 3 days, or you could buy it, but you couldn't touch it for 3 days or whatever. I mean, but I've never had nothing too bad. I mean, I've been on the scam exchanges and got scam wicks that went way higher or way lower than all other exchanges and things like that. But
Yeah.
nothing like I've not had my money locked up on anything.
That's good. That's good. Okay. And, so are you into alts now or you're still kind of trading only Bitcoin right now?
Nah, just Bitcoin.
So are you like a maximalist or you just
I'm
don't
not really
care,
a maximalist. I think there'll be other coins that actually do something, but in reality, I mean, I think it's going to be quite a while. Like
Yeah.
because of things like that, there's so much crap going on. I think, and we may not even know what the successful coins are going to be. We may not even have seen them yet.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned when I got into crypto, and this helped me, even though I was in markets before that, this really helped me look at all markets and how I said, it's a game. This was here's two things that made me think of that. When I first got into crypto, I had got into a crap coin and I got quite a bit of it and it pumped. And while it was pumping, it was a really low cap. I mean, really low cap. But while it was pumping, I had so many and I held it for probably 6 months before this happened. And while it was going up, I was selling mine and I was actually making the market while I'm watching it. It took me almost a whole day to sell everything. I could sell bits at a time and it would go down and then come back up. And that's what made me realize what was going on, in all markets. It's pretty much the same stuff. That's why you always see a drop and then you see a pump because they'll sit and wait. They want to go higher to get rid of more. That really that opened my eyes to markets.
Wow.
Like I said, that was a very small cap coin. But you look at what coins do. I mean, that's what happens. And then you look at traditional market and it's no different. There's big players out there doing big things and a lot of them can. I don't know if you've ever heard of shorters, but there's actual professional shorters that are basically, I don't know if you want to call them firms, but they'll go out and look for bad information on a company or whatever. They'll get all the information and then they'll short the stocks and then they'll get a hold of their news media contacts and put it out there and push the stocks down. I mean, that is legit the stuff that goes on out there.
Those are the big boys. Those are like the big hedge fund boys that like got mad when like GameStop and NFTs and meme coins were popping off and they didn't get a piece. So they halted all the stocks and, because I remember when that went down, right? So it was kind of like a reversal on people. Guys, by the way, I see so many people in here. Smash the likes in here. Give us some
smash
love.
the like buttons.
And like comment, say hello. We're very friendly in here. It reminds me, like, I cannot believe what was going on at that time where, GameStop, AMC were running and they halted the stock, right? And on CNBC, all these people were going on TV saying that, the Wall Street bets people, make it unsafe for us everyday people to invest. Meanwhile, but that's what they do
when they're
all the
doing
time
the same thing,
closed doors on a bigger scale, except we can't see it when all these plebs were on Reddit just openly doing it and they got mad that they weren't ahead of them. That was just like so wild to me. So that really opened my eyes as to why I should love crypto even more than I already did at the time. It's pretty wild.
You just got to be careful what you get into in crypto. That's there's a lot of shady stuff in crypto. So
we're still extremely early. I mean, what you were talking about before with these very low cap coins, if you go on these blockchains that aren't used so often and you look at these tokens and things like that, like even with a little tiny bank account, I think with some of these tokens with $1,000, you could wreck the market. And that's
Right.
pretty wild that someone like me could come in and just pump and dump on these people. So guys, just like do your own research into what you're investing in, especially like, you know, if you're going to stake your tokens, like we were talking about before with things like Celsius, you know, there's always a risk in everything. So please do your own research. Don't lack on anything. And now, you know, did you kind of see, you know, a benefit to trading, you know, Bitcoin? Like why even give it a chance? Why even like, you know, spend that time of day when you're kind of more familiar with the stock market? And do you feel like it's even worth it to trade Bitcoin at this moment?
Volatility. That's what drew me to Bitcoin. Actually, what drew me to Bitcoin was like what I said. You know, I just went in totally believing, thought it was going to go up forever. Yeah. Even though I had market experience, it still got me into that. And I just want to caution people, it doesn't have to go up, you know, as fast as people think, especially in an economy like this and what's going on. There's some weird stuff going on out here.
Absolutely. And, you know, do you even feel like it's worth trading Bitcoin right now? Because we're in such a weird state where it's kind of just blah, kind of sideways.
I mean, if you're looking for, you know, a longer term trade, I posted on my video this morning, you know, I've been talking about it for months. If we break 18.2, I would look for, you know, a short to 14.5. You know, people always want to get in it way before, but there's validation and invalidation points. But yeah, if we broke 18.2, I see 14.5 pretty quick. Gonna bounce there and much lower. Go ahead and watch my videos if you haven't watched them. I've been talking about the same thing since December 2nd is when I first started talking about the Amazon chart. So.
Okay, that's pretty zesty over here, Savvy, because we have a lot of people here that are calling for 10K. They're calling for below 10K. Do you think
it's below 10K.
What?
I think it's below, yeah.
What? Goodbye. Bye, Savvy.
Sorry.
Later. No, that's so wild. So what do you use on your charts? Because like I'm looking through all these indicators. I'm trying to be a trader. I want to be a trader one day. You know, call me crazy, friends.
Less is better. Don't clutter your chart.
So what do you
learn
use?
A couple things. Everybody's different, right? So,
yeah.
But most good traders don't have a bunch of crap all over their charts. It really, I mean, YouTube traders, they have crap all over. A lot of them. A lot of people claim to be traders that aren't traders, and you can tell by listening to them.
Yeah.
So, but all I use is the RSI, my EMAs, which are the 8, the 13, 21, 55, and 200. And trend lines, support and resistance, and Fibonacci. That's pretty much it. And those are mostly tools. The only indicators are the EMAs and the RSI.
And are you like, what kind of time frames do you look at? Because I know that typically
I like 4 hour and daily. Yeah. I like 4 hour and daily.
Yeah, because like I know like the string of degen stuff is like the minute charts, right?
Yeah, and I mean there are people that day trade and you know do good at it. Most don't. Most day traders lose before they learn. They lose everything before they learn. But yeah, swing trading is the best for me just because you don't have to sit in front of the charts all day. I've done that enough trying to learn rather than sit in front of charts all day. And especially with crypto because it's 24/7. You'll never sleep if you're day trading. You get stuck in a trade and you got to stick it out or set your stops, go to bed, whatever. But yeah, I'm not into the day trading thing.
Yeah, I think day trading is really hectic. I mean, It's just overall life consuming, not even time consuming, life consuming because your whole life is on there now.
Yeah, and that's where I started. I started day trading before I got into swing trading. And what happens a lot of time, people day trade with little bits of money because they want to get rich quick or they want to make a lot of money fast. But if they do become a successful day trader, they usually move over to swing trading because you can use more capital, less leverage, and have more time, more freedom, more time to do stuff, and you're not as stressed out all the time. And then once you got really big capital, which, you know, 100 million, whatever, throw your number out there, whatever would be really big to you, then they become investors. They go from swing traders to investors. So it's that's how I look at it. That's what I've noticed looking, you know, at people that have become successful. They'll start out smaller time frames. The more money you get, you go to the bigger time frames.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting learning about the charts. It's literally a whole new language and it's just kind of overwhelming. Like, you know, you want to dip your toes in the water, but like my toes are cold. Like it's kind of cold. Like it's not warm. Like, you know, when you go over to the ocean, Savvy, and like you dip your toes and you're like, ooh, That's cold.
Right.
I think I'm gonna have to ease my way in there. Like that's kind of how I feel when I'm looking at these charts. It's just so much is going on. Like,
play on fake accounts.
Yeah.
Like, it can't hurt you, and if you're profitable in that, and I always tell people, if you can't grow $5 or $10, you can't grow 10,000. So don't go throwing a bunch of money in and thinking you're gonna get rich. So.
You can't grow 5 to 10. You can't make thousands.
Right.
I really, really like that. That's entirely valid. Because again, like, you know, people could watch charts all day and maybe draw some lines and be like, oh, like that line worked out. But then they go and throw money in it and then they mess up really bad. And they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done
and that's
that.
the thing. Yeah. Too many people jump in and throw tons of money in. You know, before they even have a clue what's going on. So start with a fake account. You know, with fake money, there's plenty of exchanges out there that do it. And if you get a strategy where you grew your fake account tremendously, then try $5 or $10. See if you can grow that. If you can't grow that, probably not for you, you know, or go back to studying, you know?
Yeah, just straight up do your own research. Try. Are there any ones that you recommend for that, to like play with fake money and try to trade crypto and things like that?
I'm not sure what all ones are doing it right now. So, I said, I really, I think Big App might have it. Some other ones. Yeah. I know Prime. I do a lot on Prime, and Prime has contests in there where you can join for free. Okay. And you can use a VPN to get into Prime, but because you're not putting money into it, you use it for the contest part.
Okay, cool.
But the contests are free.
Okay, cool.
And you can actually, if you win it, you get tradable money. So.
Oh, okay. So some incentive over there. So this is on Prime?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Like I said, you're using a VPN, so you're not putting real money in. You're just trading on there.
Okay, got it. I really want to try doing that.
There's a bunch of exchanges out there that do it. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Someone said another trader Eric Crown has a paper trading solution. There's some on Bybit. There's a few of them. Thank you, chat.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. You're not putting in any risk. And if you can't take the time to learn that and get good at it, why put real money in? And
it's just a waste.
If you can't do it with fake money, and what the hell makes you think you can do it with real money?
It just makes your loss real. Like, it just like really hits you in the heart at that point. And that's sometimes what people need, is like that little kick in the butt where they're like, you need to do some more research. You need to take a step back. So, right now you're looking at the BTC charts. So you're saying, because like you don't think we can maintain 20K and go up from here? You don't think we saw the bottom? Is there anything that's telling you like there's really that pull down?
I mean, it's always a possibility. It's always a possibility, but there's so much more pointing to no, especially when you look at the macro big markets. I'm just saying what I see, and I could be 100% wrong, but if you look at the macro markets, things aren't good. I mean, they're just not.
The whole world is a little messed up. Do you think, we're in a recession? Because I'm watching TV and everyone's chasing, apparently the definition has been changed, which I think they've done that with quite a few things so far.
News pushes narrative. Exactly. And most of that news is to get you to put your money in the wrong places. I mean, it's really crazy how it works. But if you really pay attention, that's pretty much what happens.
Yeah, that's where like the inverse Kramer kind of meme comes in, because he comes on TV, he tells you to buy something, then it straight up dumps on your face. Same people that are,
with the big money in those markets are the same people that tell those people what to say. So.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to me. That's
Scary.
why crypto, at least we're in control of our own pumps and dumps, you know what I mean? And we could see it all happening because of the blockchain. You could see what money kind of changes hands, which is another great plus of crypto.
It is, but you got to be careful with blockchain too, because
sometimes it can be too transparent at sometimes.
Well, no, not really. Just that, people think, well, they moved a bunch out of this exchange, so the prices should be stable because they're not looking to sell. Well, there's a couple ways to look at that too. That whale that moved a bunch may not know what the hell he's doing, or they can move them and then put them right back in exchange and sell them. But you can't catch that in real time. Usually when there's big dumps, that money that dumped wasn't sitting on the exchange. It went to the exchange right before, so it's not like you can really. I don't trust watching blockchain to try to see what's going to happen in the future. That's what I'm trying to say.
That is a good point. That is a good point because
it can be moved, so fast. It's unless you're sitting there watching every transaction, which is literally
near
impossible.
Yeah, very much.
But yeah, I don't trust it so much. And if you think about it, these guys with all the money, the whales, they can move that around and make people think whatever they want. So you just got to be careful with that stuff.
Do your own research. I think that's probably the biggest thing out of everything that we talked about today.
Because there's no guarantees in any market. There's no guarantees something's going to go up. There's no guarantees it's going to go down. There's literally no guarantees, but we can try to use technicals. Some people like to use the news. I think news is noise because usually
I agree.
There's a big move, whether it be up or down, and then the news comes out of why it happened. So the news is an excuse, in my opinion.
That's true, because even if you look at yesterday, the FOMC meeting, before Jerome Powell spoke yesterday, things were kind of trending upwards. And then we got the 75 BPS announcement. Things kind of dumped a little bit. Then he went on and it took a worse dump. And even before he went on, before these numbers came out, dump. So it's just like you can't, really base it off the news at all because it's just a mess either way. I think you just have to have a plan.
Yeah, you got to have a plan. Like I said, learn how to manage your risk. Don't risk a lot. And like I said, ride the winners. And a lot of times, the easy strategy is just, and you won't, I don't want to say easy strategy. None of it's easy, but just trail with stop losses all the time. If you get stopped out, at least be break even or, a little bit of profit. And if you do catch that good trade where it runs away, move your stops up into massive profit. But there's so many different ways to trade and so many different setups. So it's not every trade is the same. It's never the same thing twice. I mean, you might find a pattern that's, the same or whatever, but your strategy is not going to stay the same all the time either. So depending on, what the market's doing at that time. So.
That's true. Do you have any, macro outlook for the market, stocks, Bitcoin? What do you think is the next year, maybe the next 5 years for us? Do you think we're going to be headed to a Great Depression or we're going to bounce back? A bull market's going to come through and save us all?
I think we got a good another year of downside or close to, maybe more, honestly. But it's not, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, I think. It's all how you look at it. If you're actually, it could be a very long time before Bitcoin sees a new all-time high, in my opinion. I've showed my whole analysis. You can check it out. I pretty much go over that little bit of it every day on pretty much every video. I mean, I go into, smaller time frames and what I think is going on, but so far this has all been playing out to the T since December 2nd.
Wow.
And my bottom, I think the bottom is going to be around 35 or 4,500 bucks.
Wait.
For Bitcoin.
Wait, say that again?
35 or 4,500 bucks for Bitcoin.
What? Are you serious? Now,
again, there's no guarantees, but everything that I'm seeing is literally pointing to that.
Can you show me a chart?
I think it's a good possibility.
Can you show me a chart?
Let me see if I can share this chart. I'll show you a couple.
Yeah, someone in the chat said, Phil, he goes, 2023 is going to be rough in all capitals. Phil, don't you say that to me right now.
I do think it's going to be, but there's no guarantees. Things could change. What if,
facts.
Everything turned around in the big markets and they decide to pump them somehow, which I don't see.
Everyone's going to end. Everyone and their mother is going to get liquidated.
Yeah, I have a few charts I can show you. Do I just hit the share screen?
Yeah, you should be good to go.
Can you see this? Is it showing or not?
Yes, yeah, you're good.
Oh, it is showing?
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So right here, this is the Amazon compared to Bitcoin chart, right? This is the one I was talking about in December. Yeah. I made a video that day, but if you look at what's going on here, this was the big washout. Same thing we're seeing here. And this isn't the only one. I don't have them charts up right now, but it also happened in Sony and Nintendo. The same type of thing. It's a bubble pop pattern. So people say you can't compare Amazon with Bitcoin. Like I was talking about, all charts are just that. They're just markets. So
yeah,
It's all based on human emotion. It's all based on big money taking little money. But the thing I wanted to say here is people see triangles in, you could be looking at Tesla, you could be looking at, GM, you could be looking at Apple, totally different type things, right? But
Yeah.
that pattern has the same play out in a market. And this is how bubbles pop. And if you look at this, so this is the same chart, and this is just squeezed together. And this shows, if you look over here, it took 10 years for Amazon to break the all-time high after that. And these are both weekly charts. And both the times, the tops and the bottoms all are in the same timing on all of this stuff right here.
Oh, wow. But
So that would bring
different
Bitcoin.
years, though.
Yeah, different years.
Yeah.
But again, markets are markets, right?
Yeah.
So still, if it does play out, that would get us down to a bottom. And this bottom wouldn't be until the middle or end of next year. I know everybody thinks about the 4-year cycle. Everybody thinks about the 4-year cycle being,
The standard.
it's going to be a new all-time high by 2025. Well, I mean, that's kind of crazy considering what's going on in traditional markets and in everything else, right? So
Yeah.
if this does happen, it would get a rally after that, right? Up to maybe in this area, if it plays out the same way. And most of these patterns play out the same way. And again, this is both the weekly. Again, it doesn't have to take 10 years. Sony and Nintendo, which Sony's a very successful company, still hasn't reached its all-time high since back in 2000, right?
Wow.
So there's no guarantees about anything. That's just what I like to put out there. But if you look here, this is that Amazon chart right here. Same time frame, everything. This is the Bitcoin chart. And if we overlap it here and just look at the similarities.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see what happens. This gets invalidated if the 21 EMA gets crossed. And that's the yellow line here. And that's about 29.5. As of right now, that goes down as time goes. But that's what I've been looking at.
Wow. So if Bitcoin breaks above that line, then that's...
If it breaks above 30 or some, then I think, that's invalidated. That doesn't mean it goes to new all-time highs the same day, but, that would invalidate this pattern here.
Yeah. Whoa. That's pretty wild, Savvy.
But if you think about it, look at the opportunity there. If it does go down here, you get into shorts. Like I said, if it breaks that 18.2, it comes down here, comes all the way back up. That's up from 3,000 to 40,000 in about 2 years, less than about a year and a half. That would make everybody think we're going to 100,000 again, just like this did. And
then the hype comes back, and then a big dump on us. And wow.
But that's a very good possibility, and something you should at least think about.
That's humbling.
Because it's a market, and anything can happen.
That's a humbling moment for all of us. I think the whole world would get liquidated at that point, because even, when the whole thing was going down with Celsius and things like that, they were saying that if Bitcoin went to, don't quote me on this exactly, but they were saying if Bitcoin went to 16
or something.
Or
16.
Something like that, where if it hit that number, then Celsius would be wrecked, and then there were other exchanges that were on the brink of being liquidated because they were the market was just being pushed down to those numbers, and I can't even believe what we're at right now, but I can't even imagine $3,000 Bitcoin, because that's kind of like when I first heard about Bitcoin was when Bitcoin was like $3,000.
Right. Well, if you look at it, if you look at the Bitcoin chart, we're right in the same place we were 2017, right?
Yeah,
so it's been 5 years and we're still at that same spot. So just kind of a way to look at stuff.
Yeah, like we're at the 2017 we're at the 2017 high.
Right. 5 years later, we're in the same exact spot.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Just a way to look at it.
Okay.
I don't mean to scare people or be negative, but it's a market, and that's the way I look at it, is just another market. So,
yeah, you just have to be prepared.
But after that 10 years, if it was to play out like Amazon, you're talking. Let me put that chart back up and just kind of show you real quick.
Yeah, go for it, Savvy. Educate us all.
So if it was to happen, and again, not guaranteeing anything, but I'm saying this could be a hell of an opportunity. But if you look at what happens after that with Amazon, after 10 years later when it broke the all-time high, just look at it.
Parabolic.
Yeah.
Then we're all driving Lambos. We're all living in Dubai. And
flying jets.
Yeah, we're all kings and queens at this point. Oh my
I mean, it's
God.
definitely a possibility, you know, if in this time that maybe Bitcoin does become, yeah.
I'm going to be like 30.
You're young. I envy you because you would be able to be around for that whole thing. You know, that's 10 years from now.
10 years,
no, I'm not going to disappear,
like...
but I'll be a little less able to do the things I could still do right now by then. So
nah, I doubt that. Don't lose.
But no, there's if this was to happen, there is so much opportunity here. You can look at that as, oh my God, my Bitcoin's never it's gonna be forever until I make money. But even if you don't trade, if you buy and sell at the right times, you can make a ton of money. I mean, what is this? If this was to play out, just this bounce here, if we go to 3,500, right, and we bounce all the way back up to this, which would be like this move here, and it doesn't have to be identical.
Yeah.
But that's a 1,000% gain. I mean,
yeah,
that's a huge opportunity. Just sell on the way up. When you're into big profits, that's what people don't get. They want to hold it forever and at least take what you initially put in out and then let the rest ride, and then you don't get hurt. There's so many people hurt buying up here that were expecting $100,000.
Oh yeah, there were laser eyes everywhere, which makes me think, right? Like, during that time, everyone had laser eyes. We're going to 100K. Then obviously, because like the market sentiment was so bullish, then we had a huge jump getting to where we are now. And now we're in a place where everyone's saying they're so bearish, it's going to 10K, which makes me think, oh, like this is kind of when everyone said it was going to 100K, and it didn't. Maybe.
Kind of. I mean, you could look at it that way, but then you got people like I think we're going a lot lower than 10K. So you got the people thinking 10K is going to be the bottom, but a lot of times it's been a lot lower. Like in the past, I don't know how many times in 2018 all the way down that everyone was calling the bottom, right?
Yeah.
I think when people give up, quit calling the bottom, and then start calling for super low bottoms, then the bottom will probably be in.
It's like when everyone gives up. If everyone would give up.
But I mean, even if you looked at this, if you bought right now, at 20,000, even if it went to 3, and if this did play out like this, you're still going to be double your money in 3 years. So, I mean, in the worst case scenario, right?
That's true. That's true. And you know what? For me, it's more like, Bitcoin and everything. It's something that I'm holding for longer than like 4 years. I picture this being generational wealth, right? So it's something like I tell this to people all the time. If you buy now, if you buy 18, 17, 15, in 10 years, that's not going to matter at all. Just DCA and leave it alone if you're not a trader, if you're not interested in looking at the markets every day. That was kind of like, that's like my only piece of advice out there. Of course, it's not financial advice. It's just like my opinion.
Just don't put your rent money in, don't put in the money you need. If
don't
you
be
got
a degen.
just put in what you got extra, what you're willing to, some money you're not going to need for, a few years down the road.
Yeah, I think that's why I think dollar cost averaging is pretty cool, because even if it's $10 a week, right, it's still something that you're putting towards it. It's not breaking the bank, and it's money that you don't need at that moment. So yeah, it's 3K Savvy. I haven't seen anyone say that.
Not 3K, 3,500.
3,500. Still, that's horrifying. Like, that is so scary. But you know what? It's life. It's life. And you have to separate your emotions from
And it may
trading.
not happen. That's why there's invalidation points, right? That's what you got to do when you're looking at charts.
Exactly. Wow. You taught me so much today. Savvy. Wow. Is there anything else that you would like to share chart-wise with us that you think would help us out in our journeys?
I don't have any more charts really pulled up right now, but
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, like I said, less is better. Don't get your charts all cluttered. Messy charts or messy trades.
Okay.
Try to learn and I'm not saying just use the RSI or just use what I use, because there's many successful traders that use different things, but most of the successful traders don't have their charts cluttered with stuff. So just learn like one indicator at a time. When it starts making sense to you, then maybe add another one, or just don't put a bunch of stuff on there and be trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Little by little, it takes time. The markets aren't going anywhere. You have plenty of time. There's plenty of opportunity. if you want to trade.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Because, like I said, I'm trying to learn the charts too, just because it's a whole different language. And I do think, on top of the knowledge I already have, that, the charts will help enhance that, like my understanding of the markets, like 100%. And just now you're opening my eyes to kind of just comparing, stocks and things to each other, just like what has everything else done in the past, and is this similar to what's happening now with Bitcoin and things like that. Wow, that's pretty wild. Thank you so much. You don't have to share anymore if you're done sharing charts, but just so it's easier for you. But yeah, thank you so much, Savy. Like, this is amazing. You dropped a lot of alpha today. Do you mind, like, giving us giving us a little message? What is your message to our audience today? People that are watching, you could give them a message about life, about charts, about food, about Key West. What's your message to everyone? Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on YouTube or Twitter. On Twitter, it's at CryptoSavvy1. On YouTube, it's CryptoSavvy. Don't take life too serious. Try to stay calm. If you're playing in the markets, if it's something about markets, just learn to not let your emotions get a hold of you, and don't get emotionally attached to anything in any market. But yeah, just live life. It's short. I'm in my mid 40s now, and it feels like yesterday I was 20 and life passed me by. So much I wish I would have done, but just live life to the fullest, man, and try to enjoy it. I know I can get like irritated with people. I know you're on social media, and I know you're a super happy person, so probably don't get as much hate, but I get a lot of hate, especially because I talk about Bitcoin going down like it's, the end of the world or something. Like I'm telling somebody I killed their cat, but just don't let negativity get to you, because it can be horrible, especially in social media.
Yeah.
Just because people can be so keyboard warrior, rude, like misery loves misery, right?
Exactly. And I know the audience can't see you right now because for some reason my Zoom crashed. Do you want to leave for a second and come back so they could say hi to you before we head out?
I could do that. What do I do?
Yeah, hold on. The Zoom is going to close on you. One sec. I'm going to close it and then come back in. Okay. One sec, guys. Let me see. I'm going to get Savy back. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties out here. My Zoom crashed on me. But yeah, Savy is an amazing guy. I'm so happy I had him today. Able to drop some alpha on the charts. Okay. I think you should be good.
Okay.
All right.
Can you see
me? They'll see you in a second. 1 second. Come on, Zoom, cooperate with me. There we go. Sorry.
Does it say if not, no biggie?
Yeah, there we go. My Zoom crashed on me. My computer's so not nice to me these days, but yeah, definitely thank you for coming, and don't trade with your emotions.
Thank you for having me.
And then your Twitter is at CryptoSavvy1. And what is your Instagram? Because you have imposters over there.
Yeah, I'm sure I do. I don't even use Instagram, so I think I started an account a while back, but I don't even use it. It's just too much more stuff to do. I have enough hard enough time with Twitter and YouTube alone. So
how often do you upload on YouTube so people that are able to
daily, Monday through Friday?
There we go. Do you have a certain time?
In the morning, usually. It's usually between 8 and 10 or 7 and 10 in the morning. Sometime I try to get it before market opens, but it depends on how long or what's going on in the charts. So, but I usually get it out every morning. Try to get it before market opens at 9:30 Eastern, but sometimes it might be a little after.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, expect daily videos on this link. I just dropped the link to Crypto Savvy's Twitter and YouTube. This is also in the description of the video for you guys to go check out after. Guys, please follow Crypto Savvy. He's so awesome. And yeah, he gets spicy on Twitter sometimes, but that's just Savvy being Savvy, and you have to respect him because at least he says what he thinks. Because, you know, a lot of people don't say what they think and then they get in trouble anyway because they got caught in a loop. At least Savvy's straight up with you, and he's going to tell you what he thinks, just like he did today. And I really, really appreciate you, Savy. You're so amazing. Guys, please go follow him. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you, everyone.
Make sure you
watching.
Subscribe to.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. This has been the 4th show this week. I'm so happy. Yeah, I'm going off over here. I'm on fire. You know,
YouTube rewards you if you try to get one out every day. They'll reward you better. They'll put it in front of more eyes.
I do try. Like, you know, 4 times a
tough.
week. It's crazy.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think I have 1 or 2 shows lined up for next week, and then I think I'm going to touch grass for a week. So, you know, we're gonna have to see what the schedule holds for us. But definitely Monday, you're gonna catch me at 12 p.m. Eastern, as always, every Monday with the weekly Zest. Monday at 4, we do have a really zesty guest coming on the show. I'm very excited for you guys to meet him. Thank you, Savvy, for coming on again. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for hanging out with us. Yes, of course. I'm going to have you back sometime soon because I feel like it's been an hour. I feel like we talked about nothing, but we talked about everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
There hasn't been enough time for us, but thank you, everyone in the chat. If you didn't already, please like, subscribe, and share this video out with friends. And after this is over, please drop a comment. Let us know what you think Bitcoin is going to do next. Let me know if you think Savvy is cool and savvy with the charts. You know what I mean? Wink. Have a great day, everyone. And as always, don't forget to stay zesty. Peace.